I've taken custody of my brother's broke chauffeur. Though penniless. He's got those washboard abs and a Captain America worthy butt, still as a male model. Restless as a terrier. Only problem? His counterfeit Gucci belt and fake Rolex reek of insecurity. One evening while disciplining him with silk ties around my bedposts. Mason FaceTimed, "You wanted to adopt my driver. Why haven't you picked him up yet?" My grip slipped. If this wasn't James grinding beneath me, then who the hell was it? Mason became nouveau riche through viral twerking videos. As his ultimate daddy's girl, I waltzed into Manhattan's elite circle, only to get roasted for my Target outfits. Chipotle addiction. And refusal to grab strippers' junk at clubs. Humiliated. I vowed to bag someone whose equipment would make Magic Mike look like a Ken doll. "Get my driver," Mason suggested. Saw his gear when we pissed together. Dude's packing heat. If Mason called it impressive, it must be nuclear. Back in our hometown, girls literally nicknamed him the Howitzer. Rushing to Mason's garage, I spotted this Adonis leaning against a Maybach, all broad shoulders and endless legs. Some middle-aged woman was yanking his arm. Sobbing, "James. It's just adding one girl on WhatsApp. Why must you?" James. Mason's driver. The tragic backstory flashed through my mind: alcoholic father. Mother forcing him into escort work. True to form. James growled. I said no. Not interested. "You'll kill me." The hag started pounding his chest. My blood boiled. "You don't bruise premium steak." I charged between them, slapping a check against Mrs. Wyatt's Botoxed forehead, $1 million. "Leave my man alone." Security dragged her shrieking about the Wyatt family's East Coast connections. Pathetic. Real power needs no announcements. Turning dramatically, I expected James to fall into my arms weeping. Instead, those storm cloud eyes raked over me, electric. Dangerous. Deliciously feral. Suddenly I understood why club twinks bored me. Their puppy dog eyes offered no challenge. But this wildfire gaze made my knees liquefy. I could have drained him dry that instant. "So, James?" I squeaked, suddenly aware of his corded forearms. "I'm Mason's sister." "James?" His voice dropped octaves. That V-cut torso tilting closer. My inner monologue short-circuited. I was supposed to be the boss here. Yet one glance at his hip bones straining against that Armani belt. My resolve pooled like wax. "Ella." I breathed, suddenly very aware of his cologne. "You're a benefactor." The corner of his mouth twitched. Not a smile. A predator assessing prey. "Benefactor," he repeated, rolling the word like expensive scotch. "What exactly are you funding, Miss Ella?" The garage lights flickered. Or maybe that was my vision blurring as he caged me against the car. Later, I'd blame oxygen deprivation for what I muttered. "Your retirement fund. In sperm donations." His laugh vibrated through my sternum. "Careful," he purred, calloused thumb brushing my jugular. "I don't do installments." The Maybach's trunk clicked open. We didn't make it to the back seat. "James, you don't have to put on an act in front of me. If you want to cry, then cry. Mason told me everything about your family situation." He narrowed his icy gaze at me. "What family situation?" TSK. Still playing tough. Watching him maintain this cool facade, imagining him secretly breaking down at night, my heart ached. "Didn't your mother, Mrs. Wyatt, just force you to date women? Rather than getting passed around by cougars at those high-end clubs and risking catching something? Why not come with me? I'm clean, I can eat 2 whole pork knuckles in one meal. Quit being Mason's driver. From now on, you'll just be driving me wild in bed. He pays you $10K monthly? I'll quintuple it, $50K. If you don't want rumors about me being your benefactor, we'll say we're dating. When this arrangement ends, you can claim you dumped me." I nearly moved myself to tears. What kind of sugar daddy am I? More like a damn saint. But his expression darkened until he turned to leave. That tall, unyielding silhouette mirrored my own dramatic exit during flea market haggling. I knew I should wait for him to cave first. Yet lust overrode reason. I grabbed his wrist. $80K. Final offer. Walk away now and when Mrs. Wyatt comes harassing you again, don't expect my help. His stride froze. Our arrangement hadn't even begun. Yet my canary already tugged at my heartstrings. 5 minutes earlier, he tilted my chin with those long fingers, scanning me with X-ray intensity. So sharp. So fierce. So electrifying. My pulse roared. Mouth parched. Heat pooling low. If he'd whispered baby then, I'd have pinned him against the wall and surrendered my soul. So this was love. But he revoked the contact after 3 glorious minutes. Smirking. Deal. You handle Mrs. Wyatt whenever she appears. Success. I immediately transferred the $80K after adding his contact. His profile showed him leaning against a race car in full gear, devastatingly handsome. Fake. That $1 million machine belonged to the Wyatt family's golden heir. Mason always said his driver James was decent but pretentious. Playing wealthy. True to form. James barely glanced at the transfer. Oozing nonchalance. Impressive act. But I knew this man drained by parasitic parents had never seen such sums. His heartbeat must have been thunderous. When I tentatively clasped his hand, he didn't pull away. Nervous? He teased. Of course not. I lied. Throat clicking. He chuckled. Shaky over a handhold? Pathetic sugar baby. How dare you? I snapped. Is this how you treat your benefactor? My canary remained unimpressed. Throughout the ride, I fumed while he scrolled calmly. I cursed my eagerness. Had I paid half up front, he might have been sweeter. Rookie mistake. At my apartment, I tried maintaining authority through cold shoulders. He strode past, stripping for the shower without a glance, listening to the running water. I felt like the chauffeur escorting James home for his shower. But I'm the sugar daddy here. If anyone should be putting on a show, it's him for me. Fueled by this thought, I threw open the bathroom door with false bravado. James stood with his back to me under the shower spray, water sluicing down his Captain America-worthy shoulders. Get out. He growled through the steam, though the outline of his superhero physique remained clearly visible. Excuse you? I planted my hands on my hips, soap bubbles clinging to my pajamas. This is my house and you're my kept man. I demand quality inspection. My voice cracked on the last word as my gaze trailed down his V-cut abs. I need to verify the merchandise meets specifications. His chuckle echoed off the tiles as he turned fully toward me. Be my guest, princess. Try not to hyperventilate. Water droplets cascaded down his chest, tracing paths across his Adonis belt until, oh my God! I blurted without thinking. That's hideous. The amusement drained from James' face. Care to repeat that, Ella? His voice dropped to that dangerous purr that made my knees weak. I said you're all show and no substance. I lied, backpedaling toward the exit. Not worth the awe. Steel arms caged me against the damp wall. James forced my chin down with ruthless efficiency. Take another look. Properly this time. The visual hit like a freight train. My brain short-circuited at the proportions. Suddenly I understood why my sister-in-law complained about her ex's trouser python. This wasn't a snake, this was the fucking Loch Ness monster. Well? My voice squeaked. Still soft as overcooked spaghetti. His laugh held zero humor. In one fluid motion, he hoisted me like a sack of potatoes. My fantasy version would have seductively wrapped around him like an anaconda. Reality? I froze like a possum playing dead. When his lips crashed against mine, I forgot to breathe. Christ. Am I doing CPR here? James muttered against my mouth. Use your tongue, Ella. I stuck it out like a derp-faced emoji. He dropped me so fast my tailbone met porcelain. Need me to hold your hand while you pee, princess? Those Wyatt family dimples appeared as he towered over me. Or maybe a juice box for your nerves. My face burned hotter than Satan's jacuzzi. So much for being the boss. I sat there looking like a half-drowned raccoon while James strolled out wearing nothing but jeans and my humiliation. The emperor returns concubines with the palace eunuchs carrying them out in silk wraps. Yet here I am as a sugar baby, nearly getting stuck in a toilet. My wallet aches. My heart aches. Fuming, I dialed my brother Mason. Mason answered. I'm on a live stream tour in Chicago. How should I know? But my team said James been bawling his eyes out. I froze. Why? Apparently he messed up trying to impress some girl today. Poor guy's weeping like a fire alarm. My anger instantly dissolved. So that's what happened. Warmth bloomed in my chest. This brat tried acting cool around his sugar mama? Afraid I'd lose interest? I texted James, where are you? No reply. Just as I imagined him drowning sorrows in the Hudson, our socialite group chat exploded. Someone posted a photo from Manhattan's most exclusive lounge, trust fund babies swirling whiskey. And right in the center, my boy toy James tipping back bourbon. Gold diggers circled him like sharks. One socialite bent so low her nose almost touched his glass. Simpering. Mr. Wyatt. Perhaps I could visit your penthouse tomorrow? That same which mocked me for not groping male models. I stormed into the VIP suite. The socialite jumped as I snatched James' drink. Back off. I growled, shoving him behind me. He's taken. For emphasis. I grabbed his neck and planted a kiss. Thank God I'd binge-watched kissing tutorials en route. My tongue now moved like an Olympic fencer's. James seemed pleasantly surprised, arms locking around my waist as he took control of the kiss. All heat and hunger until my knees wobbled. Breaking apart. I wiped saliva strands and glared at the socialite. See this? My man's got washboard abs and Captain America's physique. Beats any male model's package. The room froze. Every trust fund heir gaped, some horrified. Most weirdly impressed. Confidence really is the best accessory. James lingered at the door, drawling to the crowd. Tonight never happened. My heart squeezed. This sweet fool came to bartend for extra cash, yet dared protect me from these vipers. Outside, I lectured him. Never talk back to them. Their bodyguards would have pummeled you if I wasn't here. He smirked, gaze dropping to my lips. Felt nice. Let's try again. Before I could protest, his fingers tilted my chin. This kiss turned volcanic, all teeth and desperation against the alley wall. Somewhere, a trash can lid clattered as he backed me into the bricks, hands mapping my spine like he wanted to memorize every vertebra. He seemed addicted, his lips and tongue chasing after me relentlessly. I don't even remember how we got home. When he pinned me against the bed, I finally realized the car we took earlier was a Rolls-Royce. He kept unbuttoning my shirt while murmuring, "Just picked it randomly from the dealership. I only gave you 80 grand. How dare you rent luxury cars to show off? You spoiled brat. Keep this up and I'll cut your allowance in half. Let's see how you'll keep pretending to be loaded." Furious, I tried to straddle him and lecture him while poking his sculpted chest. Instead, he stripped off my jeans and flipped me into the sheets. At first I kept whimpering about getting my money back. Soon I found myself dizzy, feeling like I was being tossed repeatedly into clouds. Who would have thought Quiet James could switch from cold supermodel vibe to being more energetic than 10 horny golden retrievers? By the end, only one thought remained: being rich really is fantastic. After shamelessly moving in with James, I often marveled at city folks' decadence. No wonder socialites secretly kept college boys. This nightly routine of bubble baths followed by rolling around with a hottie would make saints drool. But my kept man sometimes worried me. Like when I noticed his collection of luxury knockoffs. Those cufflinks were perfect replicas of a brand retailing over $1 million. Why bother with fakes? I don't care if you wear cheap stuff. Tell me these didn't cost thousands. He emerged from the shower glancing casually. Gifts. Hands on hips. I demanded. From who? Some sugar mama? Are you cheating on me with other sponsors? Keep accepting gifts and I'll discipline you. Say goodbye to that perky ass. His sidelong glance resembled an emperor observing a deranged eunuch. Infuriated by his lack of fear compared to how I'd cower when Mason scolded me. I marched over and smacked his Captain America worthy butt twice. Don't you roll your eyes at me. Keep misbehaving and I'll replace you with some college twink. His face darkened as he pinned me to the couch. Twink? You're seeing others? Though trembling under his icy glare. I lifted my chin defiantly. How many I keep depends on your behavior. Even toys get old. He raised an eyebrow. With what money? Choking back anger. I silenced him with a rough kiss while coldly stating, know your place. My affairs aren't your concern. He laughed bitterly, moving with renewed vigor as he growled in my ear. Try keeping multiple boys. Ella. See what happens. Classic bluffing. That tough act barely hid his panic about being replaced. Still, his jealousy proved he cared. Men are so dramatic. I decided to save up for genuine cufflinks he coveted. But before I could start, devastating news came. Mason's live stream got banned with millions in fines. Some drunken altercation with the Wyatt family at a bar. Hearing my brother sob like a heartbroken K-drama lead shattered me. If not for Mason bringing me to the city, I'd still be in that backwater town eating pork stew daily. When would I ever get the chance to live lavishly and keep someone as gorgeous as James as my trophy boyfriend? Thinking about how James and I were tangled in bedsheets last night while my brother Mason was home sobbing over the toilet, my conscience started wavering. Mason's been grinding those ridiculous hand gestures until he developed carpal tunnel these past few years. As his devoted sister, it's time I stepped up during this crisis. After much deliberation, I decided to seduce James, the golden heir of the Wyatt dynasty. Getting him wrapped around my finger could get Mason's banned livestream account reinstated with a single word from him. Paid informants told me his full name, James Wyatt. Funny. It's similar to my current boy toy's name. Just thinking about James made my chest tighten. Sure, he's a bit materialistic, but he's incredibly capable. That face alone could send me spiraling into ecstasy. But with my dwindling funds, I can't afford his upkeep anymore. If he leaves me, his toxic family would force him back into being a gigolo. God knows what twisted sugar mommy might get her claws into him. Even second-hand, someone this beautiful would be in high demand. Within 3 days, I found James a new patron, a wealthy older woman from my hometown. As I prepared to break the news, his text lit up my screen. Found some college boy toy? Bought a new watch for tonight's countdown, photo. Another fake $1 million timepiece. I bit back my lecture about counterfeit luxury goods. Let's have one last fancy dinner. I typed through tears. He immediately sent a reservation at a $3,000 per plate restaurant. Unbelievable. This brat blows through his $80,000 monthly allowance like it's nothing. At least a college kid would be cheaper. My resolve crumbled when he added, dress hot. Got you a little present. I slammed my phone down before kidnapping fantasies involving basement chains could take root. After forwarding the restaurant details to his new patron, who promptly blocked me, I headed to the 5-star hotel where James was reportedly staying. 2 hours into my stakeout, bodyguards swarmed through the entrance as staff groveled, this way. Mr. Wyatt. There he was, James in the flesh. All sharp cheekbones and predatory grace. My plan suddenly felt terrifyingly real. I bolted upright and followed. But my phone buzzed with infuriating timing. James' call lit up the screen. I jabbed the decline button, only to have his messages bombard me instantly. You set me up with some cross-eyed clown with a frizz-bomb hairstyle for dinner? Are you kidding me, Ella? You'd better have one hell of an explanation. 3 minutes. Gritting my teeth, I typed, consider that my parting gift. Since you're ungrateful, I won't force it. His reply came instantly, parting gift? So I'm your used sex toy? Toss me on eBay when you're bored? My thumbs flew, we're done. I'm over this. Got a new boyfriend. Stop contacting me. I zapped him a $20,000 transfer labeled breakup settlement just as James' silhouette began fading down the corridor, trailing him into the basement lounge. I watched from across the room as he scowled at his phone. First love troubles? Perfect. I checked my lipstick in a compact, steadied myself, and approached. A black-suited guard blocked me. State your business. My purse vibrated again. James. I answered through gritted teeth. What? Where are you? His voice carried an eerie clarity. As if on a date with my new man. Stop calling. Turn around. The chill in his tone made me pivot slowly. There stood James himself, phone in hand, fury radiating from every pore. What are you doing here? I grabbed his wrist, panic rising. If you ruin this. He stood immovable, gaze scalding. A horrific realization dawned. I turned robotically toward the empty VIP seat. James? I pointed shakily at the bodyguard. What do you call him? The heir. Darkness swam in my vision. I collapsed dramatically on the carpet. 3 minutes passed. He loomed over me. Get up. I played dead. Since she's deceased. He told the guard. Haul her to the ravine. I scrambled upright faster than a cockroach spotting light. James let out a cold laugh. Done pretending? Back at the apartment complex. Every time he'd sneer like that, I'd sweat his perfect ass and give it a teasing squeeze. Just remembering those moments made my bladder weaken with fear now. My gaze flickered to his Captain America-worthy glutes before I hastily looked away. But he'd already caught me, craving another disciplinary session. My esteemed sugar daddy? His eyebrow arched mockingly. The moment he uttered sugar daddy, my knees buckled, sending me collapsing to the marble floor. Clearly I needed an ophthalmologist and audiologist. How could I have mistaken this scion of the Wyatt dynasty for some chauffeur? Now it all made sense. Those times I'd berate him for buying such convincing counterfeit luxury goods, they were genuine. That night at the members-only club when the trust fund kid stared at me in awe? Not because of my commanding presence, but because I'd publicly mauled the Wyatt heir. Even the Rolls-Royce I accused him of renting to show off. And when he'd threatened to destroy me, I laughed it off as empty bluster. God. He could actually erase me and Mason from existence easier than crushing ants. My attempt to clean up Mason's mess had just detonated it into nuclear fallout. James didn't bother telling me to rise this time, his long legs striding past without hesitation. I remained crumpled on the floor, watching his retreating silhouette through blurred vision until a black-suited security detail approached. Miss Ford. Mr. Wyatt requests your presence upstairs. Of course there'd be no mercy. I might become tonight's landscaping project in the estate gardens. Tearfully wiping my face, I pulled out my phone to text Mason, don't drink too much. Then purged every chat history and browser cache until my digital footprint sparkled. If I'm going down, it'll be with dignity. The presidential suite doors felt heavier than bank vaults. James stood by floor-to-ceiling windows towel drying his hair. His toned physique wrapped in terry cloth that once would have short-circuited my brain. Now my thoughts stayed chaster than a nun's. Would you like the hair dryer, Mr. Wyatt? I simpered. Catching cold would be. Concerned for my well-being now? He turned with that infuriating smirk. Always. Your health has been my top priority these past months. I desperately reminded him of all those ox penis stews and leek dishes I'd force-fed him. His laugh cut like diamond. So concerned you pimped me out to that cross-eyed socialite? Sweat soaked through my blouse. I had no choice. My funds dried up. I just wanted you to have a better patron who'd treat you properly. Ah, how altruistic. And no, I'm wrong. I never should have tainted your sacred existence. I'll never again? His glacial stare dropped the room temperature. After everything we've done? My throat tightened. He'd been willing participant. Half the time he'd stripped himself faster than I could blink. Enthusiasm matching mine. Not to mention I paid good money. Not that I'd dare say that. Trembling, I whispered. I thought you were Mason's broke driver. Just helping the less fortunate. It's not my fault you radiate this pheromone-rich nobility that short-circuits mortal self-control. I've repented. I pointed to my flushed cheek. Slapped myself 20 times in the hallway. James snorted, reaching for his phone. Let's check the security footage then. Shall we? He made a move to get up. I panicked and rushed to hold him down. But the moment my fingers brushed his knuckles, I jerked my hand back as if scalded. James stared at my cowering form with icy disdain. Ella, do you ever speak a word of truth? Every syllable I utter to you is gospel truth. My voice cracked as his fingers closed around my chin, forcing me to meet those arctic blue eyes. So when you said you're tired of me, his thumb traced my lower lip. That was also gospel? I swallowed hard. Denial would trap me. Admission meant disaster. Raising 3 fingers like a Girl Scout pledge, I declared, "You're my guiding star now. The father figure I never had. Cross my heart. Even if you paraded naked through this penthouse, I wouldn't so much as glance below your collar." The temperature plummeted as James's jaw clenched. He shoved me away with enough force to make the leather couch squeak. I didn't understand why my earnest declaration backfired until his video call interrupted the frosty silence. Seizing the chance, I fetched his favorite kombucha and fluffed the cashmere throw behind his broad shoulders. His gaze followed my nervous fluttering until I started massaging his tense shoulders. Post-meeting, his mood thawed marginally. When he strode toward the master bedroom, I hovered at the threshold like Cinderella at midnight. Planning to haunt the hallway? His baritone vibrated through me. Just keeping vigil until you wake? My voice squeaked. Ella. Warning laced his words. Say sir one more time and I'll. Biting my lip, I froze until his command snapped. Shower. Early meeting tomorrow. Emerging steam wrapped in his monogrammed robe, I found him propped against Egyptian cotton pillows. Mr. Wyatt? I'm ready. Need an engraved invitation? The mattress dipped as I crawled in. His arm banded around me. Stubble grazing my crown. Sleep. I stiffened until his growl vibrated against my ear. Need motivation to unwind? My eyes snapped shut. Against all logic. The familiar sandalwood scent and steady heartbeat lulled me into deep slumber. 3 days passed in this surreal limbo. During lunch, I ducked into the pantry whispering, Mason? Yeah. I'm clubbing with friends. The refrigerator door swung open to reveal James's stormy expression. Clubbing at a cemetery? Is this your precious boyfriend? The one worth selling me secondhand for? He's my brother. The confession tumbled out Mason's debt to the Wyatt family. My desperate scheme. James's security team verified everything before dessert arrived. Your brother's the TikTok fist-pumping bartender? James's smirk held dangerous amusement. With a text, he reinstated Mason's liquor license. My knees nearly buckled with relief until his whisper froze me. Now about the second-hand merchandise business. Ella's older brother is Mason Ford. Because he did that viral hand-fluttering dance at the bar for Victoria Wyatt, Mrs. Wyatt, she became utterly obsessed. She even set her phone wallpaper to his picture, which made Mr. Wyatt so jealous he had Mason's social media account suspended. The bodyguards in black suits all chuckled at the story. I couldn't help asking, "Didn't you receive professional training? You're supposed to keep straight faces no matter what." James shot me a look, and I immediately clamped my mouth shut. He made a phone call, then informed me, "Your brother's accounts are reinstated. The fines are waived too." I nearly jumped for joy, but wilted under James's icy stare. He's clearly still mad at me, though why he helped Mason at all baffles me, maybe out of respect for Mrs. Wyatt? Tentatively, I ventured. "Ever since realizing how I wronged you, Mr. Wyatt, I've barely slept or eaten." James picked up a document and read aloud. "Ella slept 9 hours yesterday. Breakfast, 2 baskets of crab roast soup dumplings and pork offal noodles. Lunch, 2 braised pork knuckles and broth with rice. Afternoon, 2 boba teas. Dinner, unagi rice bowl with extra." I snatched the paper and shredded it. Stealing myself, I blurted, "If you want revenge, do unto me what I did to you, make me your sugar baby. Use me however you want until you feel avenged. Deal?" Instant regret flooded me. The Wyatt family heir engaging in something so gauche? Yet he simply nodded. "Name your price." Playing my role as the humiliated party, I offered 80 a month. Pathetic enough? Done. An hour later, I held an $800,000 check. This wasn't sugar dating, this was divine intervention. Thus began my life as James's kept woman. I expected cruel demands, maybe dancing for his friends like in those toxic romance novels. Or being gifted to rivals. Instead, I got upgraded to his mansion where we spend nights test driving his improved bedroom skills. His techniques evolved from brute force to sophisticated maneuvers like parallel parking and reverse entries. Sometimes I wonder if he's practicing elsewhere. But considering his endless stamina, best not to question my $80,000 per month blessings. The only discomfort comes from James dragging me to endless galas. I dread running into Mason, he still thinks his account was magically reinstated. Our orphaned childhood made him overprotective, and I can't bear him discovering this arrangement. At tonight's dinner, I was inhaling Peking duck when Mason walked in. My worst nightmare materialized as crumbs tumbled from my gaping mouth. He glared at me darkly. "Ellie? Weren't you supposed to be vacationing out of town? You lied to me?" My duck leg slipped from my chopsticks onto the plate as I trembled to my feet. I had no idea how to explain this to Mason. I couldn't exactly say I'd been working an $800,000 per month job. While it sounded impressive, Mason would definitely beat me up for this. I feared his confrontation with James might get our live stream banned again. My twin brother had always been hot-tempered, being fraternal twins. I suspected he'd stolen all my fierceness in the womb. Just as I scrambled for excuses, James approached with wine glass in hand. His arm slid around my waist with practiced ease. "Mr. Ford, what an honor. I was planning to bring Ella to visit you this week. I'm James Wyatt, Ella's boyfriend." Mason looked stunned. The entire banquet table fell silent. But me? I was utterly petrified. The corporate dinner morphed into my personal praise fest. Everyone kept marveling how James Wyatt, the notoriously unapproachable Wyatt heir, had never been seen with female company until now. Society ladies and wealthy matrons competed to toast me, piling duck legs and chicken wings into my bowl until I nearly burst. Leaving the hotel, Mason's voice message blared from my phone. "Sis. Snuck out to check that Wyatt guy's packing serious heat. Bigger than my chauffeur. Total stud material. Go for it." I fumbled to silence it, nearly dropping my phone as James glanced over. "He cares deeply for you," James remarked calmly, puffing with pride. I said, "Of course. We've only had each other since forever." Suddenly his large hand enveloped mine, warm and reassuring. Hesitantly, I ventured, "About you calling me your girlfriend earlier. My mother's threatening divorce unless I start dating." He shrugged. "Oh, I nodded sagely. We can keep up appearances. Just tell me whenever you need cover. No extra charge, happy to help. Noted. James replied tersely. Next morning, my salary ballooned to $2 million monthly. Suddenly, his sternness seemed charming. Everything about him glowed. Thus began my year as James Wyatt's girlfriend. First, his mother needed future daughter-in-law visits, $5 million bonus. Then his father's emergency hearing loss required me calling him dad, $5 million more. We met parents. Exchanged family dinners. Even set wedding dates. During joint bridal fittings, I pulled James aside anxiously. Your mom wants us to register marriage today. How do we stop this? His lips brushed my ear. Let's proceed. Mother's heart condition. But marriage is, I wavered. Consider Mason. He coaxed. Would you let him play air guitar until he gets carpal tunnel? Lonely every road trip? Mentioning my brother shattered my resistance. James sealed it with a kiss. Good girl. Huge transfer incoming. Just the certificate. Twisting my fingers. I whispered, what if we divorce? The assets. His thumb traced my knuckles. Standard prenup, you keep everything acquired during marriage. Deal. The clerk stared as we registered marriage, still wearing tuxedo and $20 million diamond necklace. James' mother wept joyfully while mine video called from Vegas slots. Atta girl. Milk that cash cow dry. Now I'm Mrs. Wyatt with 9-figure monthly allowances. James still claims his parents need grandchildren to avoid early dementia. Honestly, this whole charade works surprisingly well. Last week Mason drunkenly confessed he's been taking how to be rich lessons from James. Maybe fake marriage isn't so bad after all. The split was even. He's on the billionaire list. Worth infinitely more than me. But I don't know what came over me when I said with faux delicacy. Well, normal couples have proper proposals. He chuckled. I could tell he was laughing at me. So I turned to leave in a huff. His hand caught my wrist. And when I spun around, he was already on one knee holding a massive diamond ring. Ella. I love you. James gazed up at me. James, vow to dedicate my entire life to giving you endless wealth, boundless passion, and bottomless affection. Marry me. Be my wife. What do you say? My nose started tingling uncontrollably. What the hell? This was supposed to be an act. Biting my lip, I leaned into the melodrama. But you once had people drag me to the back hill to bury me. The back hill is my estate. Dragging you there meant burying you deep within me. His smirk turned wicked. Oh, fine. You win the cringe crown. I extended my hand with exaggerated reluctance. As he slid the ring on, James pulled me into his arms, claiming my lips in a kiss that left us both breathless. One condition after we're married, he murmured against my mouth. No secretly keeping college boys, drivers, chefs, gardeners, or bodyguards. 3 years later, I traced circles on James' pacs after our morning romp. Hey James, when did you first fall for me? I'd regained my sass since the wedding, resurrecting the cheeky nickname. He twirled a lock of my hair around his finger. That night at the club, my heart fluttered. Oh, so it was love at first. I saw you sitting with socialites surrounded by male models. They were groping freely while you kept lunging halfway then chickening out. His laughter rumbled beneath me. I thought, what a hilariously timid creature. Training her would be more entertaining than raising prize hounds.